ghouls, ghosts, goblins, government tax audits. All of these things scare the shit out of me. More so, the tax audit. I'm just saying. This is simply horrifying. This month, we take a look at
Tales from the Crypt.
And welcome back to another edition of Simply Horrifying from Simplistic Reviews. Season 3 continues to pump out some really good episodes of Tales from the Crypt, so that's where we will continue. Now, this episode is entitled The Reluctant Vampire. And as I said before, I said that Top Billing was one of my favorite episodes. This one is right up there. It might even be better than Top Billing, now that I think of it. It's really cheesy, really tongue-in-cheek. It's got a lot of really cool throwbacks to a lot of different horror stuff and everything. It has a lot of really good actors in it as well, too. So, The Reluctant Vampire, directed by Elliot Silverstein. This guy hasn't really directed a lot of stuff or done a lot. He's in Hollywood, but this is probably one of the biggest gigs that he ever had. So, The Reluctant Vampire, it opens up, or it stars, Malcolm McDowell as our vampire, Donald Longtooth. So you already know this guy's a vampire, of course. And the opening solidifies it. He wakes up, it's night, he wakes up out of a coffin, and funny enough, he works at a blood bank. So what vampire wouldn't want to work at a blood bank, of course? So he's the night watchman, obviously, at the blood bank, and he's getting the flirty eyes from, she's kind of the accountant, or she's like a blood bank teller kind of thing. So she's giving Longtooth the sexy eyes. But Longtooth is also getting shit from his boss, who's played by George Wendt. He's a prick, and you just know from the get-go this guy's going to get his at the very end. So there's a blood bank shortage, of course, or there's not a lot of blood. So Longtooth is kind of worried that he's going to have to go back into the night and be a vampire instead of getting all the free blood from the blood bank. So he takes it upon himself to become the kind of the Avenger of vampires, or the Avenger of the week, to kill all these criminals and take their blood and fill up the blood bank rolls. So the cops are baffled. They're like, "Oh, these people are being drained of blood. We don't know what's really going on." So they bring in the advice of Rupert von Helsing, who's played by Michael Berryman. Michael Berryman from The Hills Have Eyes. He's been in a whole bunch of stuff. He always plays a real creep. He was in Weird Science. He was in The Devil's Rejects. He's been in, when you think of like a creepy, tall, white, bald guy, Michael Berryman is that guy. So, sure enough, the blood bank is saved and everything like that. And George Wendt, okay, I'll leave it at that. I like leaving you guys in suspense to kind of check this stuff out for your own. I don't want to give away all the surprises, but really good episode. Doesn't take itself seriously whatsoever. Super cheesy, but if you're a fan of like classic vampire lore and vampire tales and how a vampire should be, not Twilighted, it's kind of like this. It's very fun. And Malcolm McDowell is really excellent as Longtooth. So that's it. This was another episode from Season 3, The Reluctant Vampire, and we will see you next time for another edition of Simplistic Reviews, where we continue to load on the praise of Tales from the Crypt. So we'll see you on the other side.
This has been Simply Horrifying. Scarier than French kissing Dennis Rodman. Well, no, nothing scarier than that.